Okay, so this is your classic Spyderco PM2. Just a few simple home modifications. An aftermarket deep carry pocket clip with a spider on it. I thought that would be pretty appropriate. I love the oversized barrel lanyard hole at the end of the knife. You could slip pretty much any size cordage you want through this, so it makes customizing and personalizing your knife a lot easier. What I'm doing slowly here on the G10, I'm getting some rough 220 grit sandpaper, and I am just chamfering all these corners. Pardon me. And where you see the main finger choil, and I'm going to do it to the rear portion as well, is I'm going to start to add little scallops on the inside just so it kind of rounds it out and hugs the fingers a little more. And also what I do to a lot of my G10 folders is I chamfer the inside corners here, because if you're using bare hands and if you are like really bearing down, you know, cutting a lot of cardboard all day or doing a lot of cutting and heavy duty tasks, it can bite into your fingers quite a bit. I just washed this because after sanding down G10, it's very powdery. You don't want to breathe that stuff in, so definitely wear a mask. So a little more about the blade. You got a 3.4 inch cutting surface here. You've got a classic ergonomic leaf shaped blade. There's a constant sweep and curve to it. You've got a very, very accurate tip. Look at that edge. Pretty much mirror polished. Oh, the Spyderco's S30V is amazing. So you can see the Spyder logo, Spyder hole, Spyderco CPM S30V. Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. Eric Glasser signature, Sal signature. You've got 4 positions for the pocket clip, up, down, left, or right side. A free flowing back with technically, so 2 barrel spacers for your body screws, and then a barrel lanyard hole. The compression lock. Yes, it's missing 1 screw, not a big deal, but it's such an amazing user blade. The ergonomics are pretty much perfect on this. See if I can do the Spidey flick. Oh, glass was in the way. Sorry folks, lost the temporarily missing the tripod there, so just, of course, when I'm on camera I'm gonna mess up and not be able to do the Spidey flick. There you go. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties Sunday morning. So you've got 2 choke up positions here. Well, you got your regular holding position here, that absolutely super comfortable with that thumb ramp, jimping on the back portion of the blade as well as a bit on the partial steel liners. You can choke up to that secondary choil. As you can see, there's skeletonized steel liners in there underneath the G10. Not nearly as aggressive as Cold Steel's G10. Whether that's important to you or not, you can decide, but it definitely does the job of staying in your hand and not flying out of the way. Compression lock is super easy to clean, maintain. It's super strong. You've got that massive stop pin in there to sandwich in between the blade tang. You can see it move. And that extra bar locks in between. There's absolutely no room for wiggle in there at all. Sorry I had to cough and blow my nose. Don't worry, it's not coronavirus. So I'm going to use this Kershaw tool to disassemble and maintain this, because I got this used and was a killer price. These are around 120, early 2020, and these are going for around 200 online. The amazing thing about this blade, ergonomics are so on key. It was released When was this released? Definitely around probably 10 years ago, but for how many years has this thing been, a number one top seller? I mean, Spyderco got the ergonomics down absolutely perfect. The blade steel, many different iterations of a steel type, handle color, which everyone loves and goes crazy for these days. My ultimate dream would be just any color version of an XHP blade version. But then again, with the artificially high prices in the secondary market, with all these sprint runs, unfortunately, I don't think it's just not worth it anymore to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a discontinued blade. Yeah, that's the thing about disassembling these guys. You need two Torx bits of the same kind because they're both inside that barrel. So I'm just spinning one side as I'm. Well, there we go. I got it. So you just got to be a little more careful. Now let's take off that pocket clip. I'm going to get that all cleaned out as well. Yeah, this thing just over 3 inches of the cutting surface. With the choil, it's about 3.5 inches, so it's pretty much a perfect EDC size blade. That's not going. There we go. Sorry, wrong size there. Yeah, this Kershaw tool is great. The magnetic tip helps a lot. And the amazing thing, this entire blade, even with steel liners, 3.75 ounces. Like, that's amazing. For such a big, heavy-duty blade and such a strong locking system, like, you can't beat that, I don't think. Okay. Interesting. So 11/14 ARR. That must be the month and year this one in particular was probably made, and then, or maybe it's a batch number. That's really cool. Yeah, pretty gunky. Not sure how long this was clean before when the last person had this, but hey, I'm more than happy to do it. I love disassembling and cleaning blades. So what I'm gonna do, be right back. I have to get the washcloth and the Hanwei sword oil. So what I'm gonna do is I have this sock here, and I'm just gonna use my fingers and just do that. So I'm just gonna wipe off all the excess dirt and gunk first. Then I'll add the lubrication, and then to all the screws, I will add our favorite friend, Blue Loctite, JB Weld brand. Yeah, so it's a very customizable blade, especially with all the new Flytanium secondary parts that you can use. Look at that. That's a really skeletonized liner. That's nice. It's cutting out a lot of weight and adding so much strength for for the price you're paying. All the extra steps Spyderco takes, their quality control is just top notch. It's tough. Is like, what's my favorite knife brand? Well, that's a tough one. So many different types of knives for each knife brand. It's like asking, what's your favorite car? Well, what am I doing with it? Yeah, it's like you wouldn't use a Porsche for hauling what a truck can haul, but you wouldn't necessarily want to use a truck for a speed race, would you? And handling tight corners. No, you wouldn't. Okay. So that's looking dry and clean, getting all that excess gunk off. The pocket lint over the years. Okay, so on the blade here, you can see there's a small divot right there. So that means that's where that little extra pin on the compression lock comes in, so that actually pushes into the blade and keeps it there. So again, all the specs, it is 3.44 inches for the blade length, 8.28 inches overall, 3.75 ounces, so that weighs absolutely nothing. Like, that's amazing. Okay. Now, let's get some of that good old WD-40 penetrating oil. Just rub it everywhere, making sure it's getting in and around the pivot, so we have a super smooth, free-flowing surface. So I sprayed it down. Just gonna wipe off the excess. There we go. So G10 and the steel liners, it's an absolute win. It's not too heavy at all. Great balance. So this guy, I'm surprised it's actually only one phosphorus bronze washer in there. That's thought there would have been more, but you know, nothing wrong with that. Thought it would have been maybe, well, I'm not surprised. It's on a steel liner surface, so it's got a pretty, it would have a pretty good coefficient of being naturally lubricated on the metal surface anyways. Cool, nice. Okay, rookie move there. I got to put the washer down first, and then this guy here. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't disassemble your Spyderco blades. They won't honor the warranty if you do that. Well, I'm in Canada. I don't, unfortunately what's going on with the CBSA, I don't want to send my blades across the border anymore. It's not worth the hassle of possibly risking it being lost or seized over the border. Okay, so now I'm pushing that down, and you can get a look in there of how the compression lock is working. Come on. Jeez, come on. Here we go. So it falls loose, comes in, the excess pops. Okay, nice. So, step 2, just going to place this guy here, and then very carefully just going to swing. So now it's going to be quote-unquote locked in. We got to be a little careful here. I need to keep spinning this part around, so that way the flat piece needs to line up with that flat piece there. Yeah, so that's the thing you have to remember about disassembling and reassembling your Spyderco paramilitaries, that there is a correct side to this to the pivot assembly here, because you want to have that D shape lined up properly. Okay, to make it easier, I just put the washer and the pivot screw on this side with the D shape. That tends to lock it in more, so I'm not fidgeting with the round side, just spinning around and around, and just holding it very tightly on the steel liner. So hopefully that'll just make it easier. I can just drop it in. Alright, close. Okay, so that part of the battle is done. That looks pretty cool with the showing scale right there. Anyways, I will start getting this reassembled. If you can see there, yeah, I'm starting to get a good chamfer in on that finger choil area. So over the time, I will take the scale off, and I will keep keep rounding those corners over time. Might even see if someone has a drum I could borrow and start doing some lines on the inside. Okay. Right. So I tried closing it. That wasn't a good idea. That just offsets everything. So you do need to keep this thing open while being assembled. So I'm just going to quickly add JB Weld 2 pocket screws. Not pocket screws, but to the main body screws here, pivot screws and whatnot. Okay, nice. So pop that guy there, leave the other side out. This guy, actually, not going to use the leftover screw there. I'm going to use it closer to the main assembly of the blade. So, a good trick for the pivot screws that I find getting the ultimate fit and finish is I'll tighten it all the way, but then I'll go like a quarter turn back and then half a quarter turn forward. So that way it's still tight, but it's not bared down all the way, so that I'm still getting a smooth action. And then that's what the blue Loctite is for, is to keep it in that perfect ideal position. It's pretty nice that the PM2 uses the same Torx bits to keep it assembled. Okay, so yeah, it's all the way back a little, forward just before you feel it getting tight, and then let's see. Okay, so there we go. Nice and tight, brand new, but I can always get it a little bit looser. Let's see. There we go. Just needs a little bit more lubrication and use, and then it's pretty much back to normal. So, Spyderco Paramilitary 2, an absolute classic there. Yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't have one in your collection. See, look, even the centering after disassembled is back to normal. It's perfect. Finally, the zip tie. People either love it or hate it. I absolutely love it. It's very tongue-in-cheek, and why not also have that wave option on your Spyderco when you can have it, right? All right. See you later, guys.